Hi, welcome back. We're on day 2 of the 3-day challenge, so congratulations, you're halfway through. So today we'll be practicing standing poses and some more forwarding bending, and then some inversions again, like I introduced yesterday, going a little bit further with that. Okay, so get together a couple blankets, have a strap, and 2 blocks, and a chair. If you don't have any of those, it's fine also, but if you want to, if you've been practicing with those sorts of things and you want to use them, then have them ready. Okay? All right, let's get started. So stand in Tadasana. Today we'll go over a few of what we did, things that we did yesterday. So when you do things over and over, it builds familiarity. So this work we were doing at the beginning of the class is to helping you open your shoulders, bring more flexibility and awareness into your arms. All right, Urdhva Hastasana. Reach the arms up. Exhale, bring the arms down. Inhale, lift up. Hook your thumbs. Lift up with your thumbs so that you're lengthening up. From the feet descending, lengthening all the way up through the side trunk. So the outer armpit area, reaching up. At the same time, dropping the shoulders. Turn the inner arms towards your ears, outer arms moving away from you. So the inner arms moving back, outer arms moving forward. Lift up. Come back to the feet. Feel the weight on the front of the foot and the back of the foot. Lift up through the arches. Lift right up through the ankle, up through the inner leg. So from the inner ankle to the inner knee to the inner groin. Move the thighs back, tailbone in. Reach up. Slight curve to the upper back. Keep the shoulders moving down, shoulder blades moving down. Lift the back of the head and look between the hands. Exhale, bring your head back, parallel. Bring the arms down. Okay, Urdhva Padangusthasana. So again, bring the arm up and back. Take the other hand. At this point, if you had your strap and you want to use the strap, you can just bring this strap onto the top hand and let it drop down so that you catch it. Walk your hand up. So you're using that as a little bit of leverage to open through the shoulder. If you don't need the strap, then you'll just walk the hand up. You can take the elbow with the hand and inch it up a little bit higher. Maybe today you have a little bit more purchase. Bend the fingers and then lift the fingers up and pull the other fingers down. All right, so just being there. Stay back in your Tadasana. Quiet Tadasana. Lift the elbow up. Reach up with the left side. And roll the left shoulder back. Soft breath. And then release. Bring your arm down. Bring your arms out again. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale. Bring the other arm up. Roll the arm. So you're opening this armpit area, and directly behind is the shoulder blade. So you can have the hand on the shoulder blade. Take the other arm. If you need that strap, catch the strap. Take the fingers or walk the fingers up the strap so you get closer to holding the fingers. So you have the hand right in the center of the spine so you can feel the hand. Adjust the hand and roll that right shoulder back. Lift up through the right armpit chest. So you keep that extension and length through the whole right side. Just be there, breathe. As you move the thighs back, buttock forward, tailbone into the body, move your front ribs back. Often when we bring this arm up, we throw our front ribs forward. So move the front ribs back as you bring the arm back. And then release. Extend the arms out. And now change the cross that you had on the thumbs, if you can remember from the first time. Pull the thumbs, inhale, lift up. Again, connecting with the feet. Feel where you have your weight. So the inner side of the foot and the outer side of the foot. observe what happens in your legs. Observe what happens through the pelvis. Lift up. Reach up, curving the upper back, bring the arms back, look up. Staying balanced there. Notice your balance in the front of the foot, the back of the foot, those little micro movements. Maintaining that balance. Bring your head back, and then bring the arms down. Okay? We'll come to Vrksasana again. So it's a balancing pose. So distribute your weight evenly. Feel weight on both feet. And then bring your right foot up. Bring the heel up as high as you can. Toes are pointing down. Hands on your hips. And as you bring that right buttock forward, let that knee come back. Soften your breath, looking at a point forward. Keep that breath soft. Bring your arms out. Rotate the shoulders, swing the arms up. Now take your thumbs. Lift up with your thumbs. So the whole side waist is lifting. So as you lift up, descend that left hip. Lengthen. And then bring your hand down. Bring the leg down. Come back to Tadasana. So you're balancing. Distribute your weight with the legs. Lift up through the chest. And then balancing. You can just take your foot on the floor. Balance on that foot so you feel stable. Bring the outer thigh into the body. So you're connecting at the hip socket. So when you bring the foot up, you bring the foot on the inner thigh. Feel the heel pressing right into the hip socket. And at the same time, the hip socket pressing into the heel. Hands on your hips. Right buttock forward. Bring your knee back. Bring your arms out. Now you swing the arms up. Change the cross on the thumbs. Inhale, lift up. Breathe. Stay with the heel and the hip socket connection. Stay with the breath. And the release. Bring your foot down. Stand back in Tadasana. Okay, you can come to the wall or just stand in the center of your mat. Just come into Utkatasana. So you take your feet a little bit away from the wall and you'll descend the hips. So the tailbone moving down, the tops of the hips moving down. So you can actually slide down the wall. Use your feet to keep that connection from your thighs back into your pelvis, and then swing the arms up. You can have the thumbs at the wall. So be there, breathe. If you're doing it in the center, same way. Pressing the feet down. You'll start with your hands on your hips, counterbalancing, and then bring your arms up. So I'll come back to the wall. Everyone else, bring your hands down. Hands on your hips. So important to be on the front of the foot, the back of the foot, just like you were in Tadasana. And as you press, lengthening your hips back, descend the top of the buttocks, descend the tailbone down, and then reach the arms up. Lift up. Getting that little bit of curve to the upper back so the chest stays lifted. And then exhale, come forward, press yourself away, and lift up. Urdhva Hastasana. Step away from the wall. So you're bending at the ankles, you're bending at the knees, you're bending at the hips. So keep lifting the arms as you descend the hips. So feeling the weight in the heels, move the weight back, reach the arms forward, creating that slight curve to the upper back, extend the arms. Breathe. Inhale, exhale. Coming back to Tadasana. So in Tadasana, establishing that balance through both feet, establishing the balance through your breath, sensing what you feel in your body, taking a few more breaths. We're going to jump our feet apart. Urdhva Hasta Padangusthasana. Nice wide stride. Turn your right heel out toward the wall. Externally rotate your left foot. Extend. Inhale, exhale. Utthita Trikonasana. Pressing your hand down, lift up, turn the chest. Keep the legs actively lifting up, tailbone and middle buttocks moving forward, turn the chest. Get a little bit of that curve that you had earlier. Move your head back and look up. To come up, we'll come into Virabhadrasana 2. Extend your arms, bend your front knee, stay in the back leg. Breathe. Inhale, coming back to Utthita Trikonasana, lengthening, extend. And then swing the arm up. Inhale, come up. Turn your feet. I'm going to turn to do the other side, so kick the heel back. So you're getting that turn of the hip, but you still want to maintain that lift of the hip. So it's the hip is moving, you're broadening through the lower back, but you're also at the same time lifting and keeping that attention to the back foot. Externally rotate the front leg. So coming into Utthita Trikonasana, be stable on your feet. Exhale, coming forward. Lifting the inner back thigh, rotating that back pelvis, turn and look up. Press your bottom hand, extend through the top arm. And then keep both arms long, coming into Virabhadrasana 2. Virabhadrasana 2 is warrior pose. So find the warrior within you. Be strong in this pose. Extend through the back leg. Lift up through the chest. Breathe. Looking beyond your fingers. Soft eyes. And then coming up, back into Utthita Trikonasana, straighten the front leg. Extend the arm down and lift the other arm up. Doing that slight little back bend with your upper back. Throw the head back and look up. And then inhale, come up. Turn your feet. Walk your feet in a bit and jump the feet together. So standing back in Tadasana. We're going to jump our feet apart again. Urdhva Hasta Padangusthasana. This time, take your hands on your hips. We're going to turn toward the front leg. So turning toward the left leg, kick the heel out. And with that, turn the hip even more. So you'll rotate on that front foot, front leg. So this is a Tadasana leg. So the kneecap is pointing forward. Hands on your hips. Press back through that heel and widen through the sacrum so that the lower back, this hip, is moving forward. Keep your hands on your hips, tailbone moving down. Lift the chest. Take your hands on your elbows, getting that curve to the upper back, lift the chest, and then exhale. Start to come down. Keep attention, awareness through the feet, balancing yourself, lengthening over that front leg as you go, using your hands on your back to feel when the ribs start to lift up toward the ceiling. So in all forward bending, we're inhale, lengthening, exhaling, coming down. So it's a bit of a surrender. You have to be observant of the body, what's happening. So coming down, take a few breaths there. And then coming back into the feet, into the legs. Inhale, lift up. And then turn the feet. We'll turn to do the other side. So turning that heel. So it's a little bit more than Utthita Trikonasana, so you can turn your hip. So adjust your distance. Let's change the cross on the arms. Press back through that back heel. As you press the heel, turn the hip. So as you turn the hip, the whole back body starts to face, toward the wall. Pressing into the feet, feeling that source of grounding below you. Lift up through the legs. Activate the legs. And then coming forward. As you come forward, observe the shift of weight from the front foot, lengthening through that front leg, back into the hip. Move your hips. Front hip back, back hip forward. Stay there for a few breaths. And then getting ready to come up, come back into the feet, into the legs. Bring that firmness there, that stability. And then turn and jump your feet together. Come back to Tadasana. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, exhale, jump the feet apart, rotate the back heel, turn over the front leg. So you can either do it the same way with your hands on your elbows, or come forward and bring your fingertips on the floor. If you want to use a block here, if you don't quite reach the floor, you can use a block. Otherwise, just keep your hands on your arms and come forward. If you're going to go a little bit deeper, bend the elbows, releasing down any amount. Inhale, come up. Bring the awareness back into the feet, into the legs, hands on the hips, and inhale, come up. So it's important when you transition that you come back into the legs, come back into the feet. Keep your awareness into a place that you're aware of what you're feeling in your body and where you need to connect. As you come forward, front hip moving back, back hip moving forward. So you're getting some broadness and width across your lower back. And then bring either the fingertips down or have your hands on your elbows, holding the forearms behind you. If you're going to go a little bit lower, bring the hands back, bend the elbows, and release the head down any amount. And then inhale, come up. Coming back into the feet, into the legs. Inhale, swing up, turn your feet, and walk or step your feet together. Come back to Tadasana. Quiet eyes, quiet breath. All right, we're going to go a little bit more with some forward bending. So you're going to come forward, and you'll take your hands down, Padangusthasana, and take hold of the big toes. And when you take hold of the big toe, keep all the other toes in the mounds of the foot pressing down, and then pull up with the big toe. So you're not pulling up with the whole foot. All the toes are pressing into the mounds, but you're pulling up with the big toe to lengthen the arms and move into the middle back. So I'll just show from the side as well. So press into the heel, inner thighs moving back, fronts of the thighs moving back. So I'm on the heels here. You can see I'm way back on the heels. Shift your weight so you're on the heel and the ball of the foot. Pull with the arms and bring that upper dorsal spine into the body. Lift. Keep pulling with the arms, straight arms. Lengthen forward. As you press the heels down, lift the backs of the thighs up toward the sitting bone. So the whole back of the leg is lifting, lengthening, but also create some broadness. Move the sitting bones away from one another. And as you do that, you can feel the inner thighs rolling back. And now bend the elbows. Release the head down any amount. Let the back of the head move down toward the floor. Come back to your breath. Relax the abdomen so it's moving towards your lower back and not tightening toward the front. And then again, come into Padangusthasana with straight arms. pulling the big toes, moving the shoulders back, moving the shoulder blades into the body, looking slightly forward. And now bring your hands onto your hips. Inhale, come up. And stand back in Tadasana. So the next one, Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana, you can take at the wall again. We'll show both ways, at the wall and away from the wall. So here you'll reach down, catch your toe. But when you catch your toe, I want you to lift the toe all the way up towards your chest. So not catching the toe like this, rounding the back, but keep the back. You can feel it against the wall. Lift the knee up. So you're getting that deep connection in the front pelvis. And then stretch the leg up. So move the thigh back so you feel the back hip at the wall as well as the other hip. And then bend the knee. Come back into Tadasana. Adjust yourself. And then bring the weight onto the other foot, preparing to do the other side. Bring the knee up. So you're basically bringing that knee up as high as you can to catch the toe, like we just did in Padangusthasana when we were pulling the toes. Here we're pulling the big toe, drawing the upper arm back into the shoulder. And in Vrksasana, the standing pose, we're keeping that outer thigh, outer pelvis connection at the hip moving in, as if it were pressing into the heel for Vrksasana. And then extend the legs out. Move the thigh back toward the hip. Breathe. And then release. Okay, we'll do it one more time. You can come away from the wall, or you can stand in the center, hands on your hips, bend the knee, take hold of the big toe, lift the knee up. So the lower back is lengthening, the trunk is extending upward, and then pulling the toe, draw the shoulder back. Soft breath, looking forward. And then release, come back to Tadasana. Other side. Catch hold of the big toe, lift the knee, stabilize the standing leg, lift the chest, exhale, straighten the standing leg. Now pull the big toe, draw that shoulder back, lift the chest. And then coming down. Stand back in Tadasana. Soft breath. And now we're going to take our feet wide, Prasarita Padottanasana. So I prefer to bring my heels onto the edge of the mat. That way I know I'm always lined up and my femur bones are in the hip socket equally. Okay? So I'll come forward now. And as you come forward, you can have blocks, if you need blocks, underneath your hands. If you don't have blocks, you can take your hands on your shins and lengthen forward first. If your hands go onto the ground, be on your fingertips. Press your fingertips like you're sliding them toward the back of the mat. But don't slide, just press as if they were sliding and lengthen the side trunk forward. Move the thighs back. Keep that connection that you had in Vrksasana. Outer hips moving in. Lengthening the back thighs. Broadening the back thighs. And then take your hands back. Lengthen forward more. If you have your hands on your calves, just bend your elbows. Everyone bring your head down. So the head either on the floor or moving down toward the floor, toward the crown of the head. Like yesterday when we practiced Urdhva Sirsasana, we were on the crown of the head. So now you're on the crown of the head, or the crown of the head is facing the floor. Elbows moving towards one another. So the elbows are not out, but the upper arms are pressing against one another. So you keep that firmness with the upper arm.
like you would in headstand. Press the fingers down, lift the shoulders up so the shoulders aren't sinking, using the hands to lift up. And then take your hands on your outer ankles, pressing into the front of the foot and the heel, and then straighten the arms, pulling on the legs, lengthen forward, and then bring your hands onto your hips. Inhale, come up. Okay, coming in, this is a little bit wider stride. Bring your heels and your toes in, and then walk or jump your feet in. Stand back in Tadasana. Okay, so now, next, Urdhva Sirsasana, like we did the other day. So the elbows, the alignment that we just did at Prasarita Padottanasana, that same distance. So your elbows in line with your shoulders. You're going to be on the crown of the head. So again, find that spot right from the area between the eyebrows, right back to the crown of the head. So marking that spot, interlacing your fingers on the baby finger side of the hand, and just really make sure that you feel that connection. So you're not rolling to the outer arm. So if you roll to the outer arm, you don't have that kind of leverage to be able to press up. So you're on a bone here. So that bone pressing into something hard is what enables you to find that balanced position. And then in Prasarita Padottanasana, elbows were not going out, but elbows were going in. So they're bringing that firmness to the upper arm, which then helps you to lift up through the shoulders. Thumbs together, be on the baby finger side, have the palms wide, and then bring the crown of the head onto the floor. And again, we're not going up fully. We're just finding the crown. We're finding the base. So the little finger side, the wrists, the forearms, and walking in. For those of you that go up into headstand, you have a practice. You can go up. For others that have not practiced very much, just be patient and learn the actions you need so that the neck is not compromised. All right? So you need to have the work of the arms and the shoulders, but also the legs. So that's why we do a lot of standing poses. So coming in a little bit closer, moving the back away from the wall, press into the left foot, raise the right leg up. Stay with the arms, lift the shoulders, press up into that leg. And then coming down. So regrounding through the arms, wrists, hands, lifting up through the other leg. Like in Parsvottanasana, that lifted leg hip is facing the wall. It's not turning out. The knee is facing the wall. And then coming down. Coming down into forward Virasana. Stretch your arms out, press the hands into the wall. Move your hips back. Take a few breaths there. And then come into child pose, just for a few more breaths. And then come into Adho Svanasana. Pressing the hands, lengthen the arms, extend through the side trunk. Move back into the heels. Sitting bones moving away from one another, broaden the back thighs. Release the head, release the neck. And then walking forward, Padangusthasana. So fingertips on the floor or on the shins, lengthen forward first. Reach hold of the toes. If you can't catch the toes, just have a hold of the ankle. Or if you have a strap, you can bring the strap underneath the toes. Pull So pull, but don't create any tension in your neck or your shoulders. Just create that length through the arms. And then bend the elbows, release the head. So as you're pressing into the heels, you're also in the front of the foot. Release the back of the head down. Relax the abdomen back. Soften the breath. Padangusthasana, lengthening forward. Bring your hands onto your hips. Inhale, come up. Okay, so stand back in Tadasana. Extend the arms down. Soft breath, soft eyes. All right, so now we'll sit down on the ground. We'll sit in Dandasana, and you can have one blanket, and you can have the strap near you and have a block. Okay, so first in Dandasana, you'll extend the legs, be right on the sitting bones. So find your sitting bones, move the back of the thigh back, so you're not sitting with the lower back rounded. You can take a little bit of height, because that height will give you more of a lift of the chest. Take your hands behind you, extend the legs out, lift up. Find that place in the upper back, that dorsal spine that you could feel earlier when we did Utkatasana. Take a few breaths there, moving the thighs down toward the floor. And then you're going to cross the legs now. Come into Sukhasana. You'll have your block. You're going to bring your head onto the block or onto a chair, depending on how low you can bring your head. I'd like to have some support for the head, with the hands pressing, drawing the hips back. You can bring the forearms onto the floor. So not creating any tension in your arms and your shoulders. Just use that pressure of your forearms and your hands to keep the hips grounded. Relax the head. If the block is too high, then you can lower the block. Have the place where the block is touching right between the eyebrows, and place it in such a way that the skin is moving down toward the nose. So breathe into the lower back, breathe into the middle back. Observe the breath in the abdomen. Relax the abdomen back. Not with any tension and not with any aggression, but just as you exhale, feel the natural tendency of the breath to move in the abdominal area. And then come up, change the cross on the legs. And again, come forward. Rest your head completely. Relax the breath. And then come up. So now you're going to stretch the legs out. You can use a bolster here, or you can use that same block, depending on your body condition. If you need, we're going to go into Paschimottanasana, so you can, if you need a strap to go forward, and then you'll position the block where you'll be. If your head doesn't go down, you can build it up. You can have a bolster, you can have a block. Otherwise, just stay in this position with your side trunk moving forward, relaxing your head, relaxing your eyes, looking down. If you can go down that deep and you don't need to have the strap, just hold onto the sides of the feet. Bring the forehead onto that block. Just allow the breath to relax. Feel the breath in the back body. Keep the legs active, so the thighs are descending, hips are descending, inner knees descending. So the legs are extending from the hips to the heels, from the inner heel to the inner knee to the inner groin. And then come up. You take your block away. And then lay down for Shavasana. So you can adjust your blanket behind you, like we did yesterday. Move everything off of your mat. You can take the block, if you have the block. I like to bring it onto my abdomen to just bring that attention there. So the breath is relaxing down toward the lower back. And then extend your legs out. You don't need the block, but just when you go into this, make sure you tilt the pelvis so the lower back is long, and then extend the legs one at a time. Just to make sure you're where you think you are. You can always look down between the legs. Sometimes the legs are on this side of the mat and the shoulders on the other side. So just, if you don't have that sensitivity yet, it will come, but just look with your eyes and then adjust yourself. Relax your feet, relax the inner legs out. So feeling that you're opening. And with that openness comes complete confidence that you can open, you can release, and you feel safe. Bringing your attention to your breath. Observing the breath. And as your mind gets distracted with anything, just allow your attention to come back to the breath. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring your hands back onto your chest and your abdomen. Coming back into your physical body. Take the block out to the side. And then bend your knees. And you roll onto your right side. And just rest on your right side for a few breaths. Supporting your head. You have that blanket. If you don't have the blanket, then just support your head with your arm. And then use your other hand, press yourself up. And come back up into a seated position, stable position, any seated position. Sit upright. Come back to the breath.
Namaste. We'll see you in day 3.